go back to the REPL and say that I'm going to look up the documentation of what is this, live browsing something, browsing live documentation. That's exactly the documentation that we have seen in the offline version. And this, if I go to the sources, this here is a manual section living in the sources. So we all write doc strings all the time. And if we actually do that and keep that next to the function, we have just introduced some friction and some incentive for us to keep the two in sync. So by putting some of the manual, maybe all of the manual, in next to the code, you get a force acting on you to sync in with the hat of the user. And I find this tremendously useful for library APIs and getting them right. So I think that's the gist of it. If I just change this thing here and recompile and reload this guide, then I, of course, get the updated documentation. And you don't need external browser. You can use W3M within Emacs, which doesn't need a HTTP server. So this is, if you remember Donald Knuth's literate programming, this is literate programming inside out. So he has like a very documentation first, let's generate the code from the documentation kind of system. And this takes some of those ideas and asks, how much can we do in an interactive environment without giving up slime and all our interactive development goodies? And yeah, Knuth does this for basically internals. Let the internals documentation guide his hand in writing the code. I do the same for user level documentation most of the time. Let it guide my hand in designing the API, and by making it explainable, hopefully get it a bit more right than I would otherwise. And crucially, to be able to take the pain, I need some interactivity in, I don't want to regenerate the documentation all the time. So this is kind of nice to be able to switch between documentation only, code plus documentation is Slime. So I hope some of you will find this approach a bit different and try it and see what comes out with your next library. Thank you.